with the numbers. Kate.
Hey, Melissa. Coinbase benefiting from the recent rally in Bitcoin. The crypto company putting out estimated earnings. In the first quarter, Coinbase reported roughly $1.8 billion in revenue. That's more than it made in all of last year and a ninefold increase from the same time a year earlier. The call did just wrap up. CEO Brian Armstrong and CFO Alicia Haas didn't take any analyst questions. They did underline Bitcoin's role in that quarterly performance and its role in guidance going forward. Haas says that Coinbase's revenue is, quote, highly correlated with the price of Bitcoin and volatility. As she put it, we cannot forecast the price of Bitcoin any better than you can. And as a result, she says it's very difficult to accurately forecast their revenue. As a result, Coinbase outlined 3 different scenarios, a high, a mid, and a low range based on monthly transacting users. Some other highlights: the company is profitable. It's got 56 million verified users and a lot of growth on its institutional side. Coinbase now has $122 billion in assets from hedge funds, family offices, and other professional money managers. That was up from $45 billion at the end of last year, and it's now about half of Coinbase's total assets. All eyes now are on Coinbase's direct listing on Wednesday of next week. Trading on the private market has Coinbase's valuation pegged around $68 billion. And Bitcoin's market cap, meanwhile, topped $1 trillion this year. Around this time last year, it was about $130 billion. Melissa, back to you.
All right, Kate, thanks. Kate Rooney. I was talking to an early investor in Coinbase not too long ago, and I said to him, what if you had invested the same dollar amount in Bitcoin versus Coinbase? Would you have made more money? And he said, absolutely. He didn't say it regretfully. He just said it, that he invested in Coinbase because part of it was understanding the process in terms of the crypto universe and understanding the possibilities there. He made a number of other investments, et cetera, et cetera. But for the average investor, I think that is the question. The question is, are you better off buying Coinbase as a public company or Bitcoin? Karen, what would you say?
I would say Coinbase because you have clearly it is tied to Bitcoin, but not only tied to Bitcoin, right? Let's say another coin emerges to really, let's say Ethereum, or many different coins, right? So you have some diversification there. Bitcoin is tied to Bitcoin. I don't think it's tied to Coinbase, but the other way around. So I would have the less risk by a little more diversification, Coinbase.
Although
but I am long Bitcoin,
right.
I'm not long Coinbase.
That's why I asked you. But it is worth noting that at this moment in time, the correlation between Bitcoin and the other coins out there, I mean, the R-square is something like in the 0.9s for a Litecoin and for an Ether. And so you're not really getting a lot of diversification right now, but the point being that eventually those could diverge. That's a good point to make. Dan, what would you say in this game of Would You Rather?
I get confused by this game, Mel. I'd probably say right here, right now, Coinbase. I think Bitcoin is obviously up 100% or close to that this year and up a lot more year over year. But I just think that I would think about Coinbase a little bit about thinking about Charles Schwab 30 years ago, especially if you believe that most assets that are going to be traded are going to be tokenized at some point in the future. I think you probably want to be with one of the first established players, and Coinbase would be one.
Weren't you going to say Robinhood? Weren't you going to bring that up? I thought we had this whole thing, we talked about this on the call. And you had this provocative time. You were going to break the rule with my permission and bring up a third choice that I didn't even lay out to you, and that would be Robinhood.
No, but it was a false choice. If you would ask me, so the point was, it was a good question. I guess I was thinking about it wrong. But an interesting question might have been Robinhood, which is going to list pretty soon, or Coinbase is going to list pretty soon. I'd probably still go with, I'd actually get long Coinbase and short Robinhood. How's that to play your game?
That's an interesting one. All right, I'm satisfied now. Let's move on. Coming up.